Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of The Flash's second episode last night of its 8th season. It's titled Armageddon Part 2. Last night, what we essentially saw was the continuation of the 5-part series of Armageddon. There's 5 episodes. The first 5 episodes of the 8th season of The Flash for this current season are going to be a mini-series slash mini crossover with different characters called Armageddon. Essentially, what obviously we see in the continuation of this happening is what's going on is Despero, a alien slash I guess you can kind of say demigod type of character, comes from his planet. He says the Flash is going to be destroying the central city and also the world, and that he has to stop him. He's the only one that can do that, obviously, so he's watching Barry Allen at all costs to see if he does that, because he warns Barry and the team that Barry's going to turn into an evil character slash villain, destroy the people around him, the citizens he's sworn to protect, and obviously his friends and family and team, and become the bad guy and the villain. And Despero says he's the only one that can stop Barry as the savior, and so essentially that's what we saw happen. Continuing on with this, obviously, in this episode, Barry Allen was framed to show him working with Sunshine, the villain, who has been on the show for the past couple of years. So he got suspended from CCPD. They said that Captain Kramer said that he was the man inside, working with her, obviously, to help her get away with, obviously, her crimes. And that obviously was not the case, so he got suspended. Essentially, what it's looking like is that Despero is the one who is setting up Barry Allen to be the bad guy, so he can come in as the hero, because he is banished from his planet, he said, and he's forced to stay on Earth because of that, and cursed. So he wants to be the hero there. So it's looking like he's obviously setting Barry Allen up with his psychic powers and abilities, and making Barry think he's going to go crazy, obviously. Zoltar is the villain of this week. She came out of nowhere. I've never heard of her, never seen her before, but essentially what she was is what we've seen before on The Flash. She has psychic powers and abilities. She can obviously mess with your mind, and she obviously was running around the town stealing jewelry, paintings, money, and stuff. So she's nothing new. She was nothing special. We've seen this character a dozen times before on the show. Characters just like her. So she's basically a carbon copy of what we've seen before. With other characters, the only difference is obviously she was able to hoist Barry Allen up in the air with her psychic powers and abilities and telekinetic energy, and bend his body back and contort it so his bones were cracking. And essentially, he was not able to move in the air because she paralyzed him. He had to get out of it himself. But the problem is that nobody else on the show was able to help him. Everybody was basically busy. But I thought it was really weird that no one was able to help him. They usually have the teleporter watches that usually Team Flash has to help them jump into any place, obviously, in Central City to help Barry Allen. Killer Frost didn't help him. No, there was no Sue Dearborn, Ralph Dibny. Obviously, Cisco's no longer on the show. Chilbane is going to be coming back sometime soon in a couple episodes. He'll probably finally join the team. Allegra wasn't there to help him. They were there on the show, Killer Frost and Allegra, but there was no use of the teleportation watches to help them jump into battle to help Barry. So essentially, he was on his own. They still are saying that Joe West is dead, but they never showed any proof of it. He's not dead. He's just dead in this alternate timeline. Once Barry Allen defeats all of the struggles and obstacles in his way in Armageddon, he's going to obviously see Joe West is alive and find out he is alive, and Despero's trick will probably be done. It's looking like Despero is playing a trick on Barry Allen with the help of somebody else. We don't know who. We've seen that Reverse Flash, and obviously Damien Dark are supposed to be back in the Flash this season, so they could be helping, obviously, Despero take Barry Allen out and screw with his mind to try to make him look like the bad guy and the villain. The whole town is already turned on him. He's currently in hiding right now, and Black Lightning is going to be helping him at the end of this episode. Black Lightning showed up in the last 30 seconds and essentially told Barry that he's going to help him, and obviously we're going to see what's going to happen with the continuation picking up next week in season 8, episode 3, which is Armageddon Part 3. The Despero is supposed to be looked over by Iris West. She asked a powerful friend of theirs to help them find out who he really is and more about him, because they still don't know obviously enough, but they know a little bit about him, and he kind of gave Barry Allen a brief synopsis of his origin story as far as how he is banished from his planet because he tried to take out their leader, but then he ended up sparing him. And even though he did something good, he still was banished to Earth because of that. So we'll see what happens, obviously, on the rest of the show. The episode was okay, but like I said, Zotar was a random character who attacked Barry Allen. Like I said, she has psychic abilities, telekinetic powers. She made everybody in the town zombies, had people attacking themselves. Not essentially each other, but it was basically a distraction for her to run around, wreak havoc around the city, steal paintings, and obviously art and jewelry and whatnot. No one helped Barry, like I said, besides himself. He hit her with a lightning force field and attacked her and took her out, obviously, and then arrested her. Then they essentially said Barry Allen, on the news, it came up that they said, oh, the Flash, after he arrested Zotar, he took her to jail. Then he attacked everybody in the city. They showed a video of him attacking people, but Barry said, I don't remember doing that. Essentially, after that happened, he said also Joe West is dead, but he said he didn't believe Joe West is dead, but it's been 6 months. He said that he doesn't know what's going on. He can't remember. So essentially, it's looking like, I don't know, after he got attacked by Zotar, she erased some of his memory. Now he obviously attacked his team, and everybody's looking at him like they can't trust him. So he's in hiding at the League of Justice hideout, where obviously all the heroes are at, but the only one that's there right now is currently Black Lightning. Black Lightning's supposed to help him in the next episode, which will be obviously next week, which is season 8, episode 3, and we'll see what happens with that. Essentially, that's basically what's going to happen. Where it picks up off. Batwoman's supposed to be probably in the 5th episode. Damien Dark might appear in that too. I don't know what episode he's supposed to be in. Mia Queen / Mia Smoke, who is the daughter of Oliver Queen and Felicity Smoke slash Felicity Queen, is supposed to be appearing in this miniseries as well. I think she'll be in the 4th episode, but she's confirmed for it. Also, the guy who's supposed to be replacing the Atom, Brandon Routh's character, he's supposed to be in here. I think he'll be in the next episode. But every episode, one person from each CW TV show, with the exception of Stargirl and Naomi, everybody else, one person from each show is supposed to appear in each episode. So, except Superman and Lois, there's no character from that show that's going to be appearing. This episode had the Supergirl's main character on the show, who is like in charge of their communications. She was on the show and she talked to them. There was no Supergirl. Superman's not supposed to appear as well. So the big major, obviously, heroes won't be appearing. Nobody on the Legends of Tomorrow show appeared except Brandon Routh, who's no longer on the show, obviously. So we'll see what happens with that. It was an okay episode. We'll see what happens as it picks up. Reverse Flash, Damien Dark, and possibly Red Death Flash are supposed to appear on the show. I don't know if Red Death Flash is supposed to appear, but it's possibly that it's a possible rumor that he could appear. Somebody playing him, but it is confirmed that Damien Dark and obviously Reverse Flash and Harrison Wells will be in the next couple of episodes of this season, just starting out with this mini crossover. So we'll see what happens with that. That's essentially all I have to say about this. The episode was okay. The episode was cool. Like I said, Zoltar was, I don't know if she was a manifest or where she came from, if Despero sent her there for his planet. We don't know anything about her, but she was, like I said, not a special character. We've seen her before. Barry Allen is currently suspended from the CCPD because it looks like he worked with Sunshine, the villain, to help destroy, obviously, evidence and cases and get away with it. Obviously, they said that Barry Allen's the man on the inside who's been helping her. He says that's not true. That's not at all the case, and he's suspended, so he's not working at CCPD anymore as their crime scene / CSI crime lab investigator. So he's obviously not doing that. Chester built a ray gun that helped the team take Despero out after Killer Frost told him that he needed to create a weapon in order to help the team, even though Chester says he doesn't like guns and he doesn't like making weapons to destroy people because that's not who he is. He doesn't like hurting people. Killer Frost was the only person on the show who essentially said that she didn't believe Barry was going to obviously stay good. She actually said he's going to go dark side. So, which I thought was weird because she's the only person on the show who obviously would know about them and she was labeled as a killer. She knows what it's like to be falsely accused. Barry Allen and the whole entire team helped her last season stay out of jail and obviously no longer stay a wanted criminal. So I thought it was very hypocritical that she was the one obviously to say that. I thought that was really weird. No sights of Chillbane. He'll be back, I guess, whatever, to join the team eventually. Hopefully that's the case because they need him. Because there's less people on the show to obviously help Barry Allen physically with obviously metahuman powers. It's just Allegra and Killer Frost, nobody else. So they need obviously somebody else to help them out. So I think that's what essentially is going to happen. Chillbane will probably join the team because Sue Dearborn and Ralph Dibny won't be on the show like that, like they used to be anymore. Obviously, they just pop in and out, but there still has not been any replacement for Ralph Dibny yet. They're just not going to tackle that. I think that's actually very pathetic that they're not doing that. We'll see what happens, obviously, because the character that played him had some tweets online that obviously got him in a lot of trouble, and then he got fired off the show because of that. It was like about 3 years ago. They still have not replaced him yet, but somebody played him a couple last season with a helmet on his head, but we don't know who that person is, so we'll see what happens with that. I think it's very cheap that they're not doing that still. Like, just hurry up and move on with them already. Don't stop bringing on Sue Dearborn, and we don't see Ralph Dibny obviously as a replacement. Any replacement of him of that matter, obviously. So the showrunner of the show, his name is Eric. I think his name is Eric Wallace. He says that Joe West is going to come back. He's going to have a different perspective and look on life, but he's obviously not dead. So in an alternate timeline, Jesse L. Martin, who plays Joe West on the show, is not dead. He's going to be coming back, but they just said this is just a temporary thing. So his name, yeah, like I said, his name is I think his name is Eric Wallace, if I'm not mistaken. He's the showrunner on on The Flash. He said Joe is going to have an incredibly different perspective on life, and it's going to lead him into a different direction, is basically what I'm saying right here. So essentially, he's not dead. I'm thinking, if I had to guess, that when Joe West obviously comes back, he's probably going to be a private investigator or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what happens, or teaching at the academy or something. But he's obviously not dead. Once Armageddon is over, he'll be revealed that he's alive. The timeline is going to change. This is probably an alternate reality that possibly going on in Barry's head that Despero could have obviously put him through, and somebody else to test Barry to see if he's obviously the worthy, obviously hero that he says he is. But I don't know what's going on with that. We'll see. But it's been very strange to see because, like I said, Despero is a character that just came out of nowhere. And like I said, the whole Joe West is dead situation makes no sense because at the end of season 8, he retired, but he wasn't dead. So this is obviously an alternate timeline because when he retired, Joe and everybody were at Iris and Barry's wedding at the end of the season. So there was he got shot or anything. He retired. So like I said, alternate timeline. This is something that has been created by Despero and possibly the Reverse Flash to frame Barry Allen for them to come in and be the new heroes and to obviously take him out and to take his place and to pretend to be the new Flash, obviously. So we'll see what happens, obviously, because the Reverse Flash comes in and takes out the Flash, who is labeled as the bad guy. Now the Reverse Flash is looked at as the hero, so that's essentially how it's framed. So we'll see what happens with that on the show. That's basically it. We'll see. That's the end of my video. We'll see what happens on the rest of the show within the upcoming weeks. The rest of this series, Black Lightning appeared at the end of this episode, so that means in the third episode, he's going to be in the whole thing, so that's going to be next week. The trailer is out. You can see it. Black Lightning is going to help Barry Allen figure out who is framing him, more about Despero, and obviously help him figure out what's going on. And he's talking to him and confiding in him about him attacking his team and his family and what he can do, obviously, to help get over that. So that's essentially what's going to happen for this next episode, which will be season 8, episode 3, Armageddon part 3, which will be out next week. So we'll see what happens with that. I've seen in my video. Thank you again for watching. Let me know what you have to think about this, obviously, and on the show. If you've been watching Flash for the past couple of seasons, if you stop watching it, let me know. And what do you think about Armageddon so far with Despero and whatnot? Zotar, like I said, was a average character. She's a carbon copy of what we've seen before. A psychic, telekinetic supervillain who messes with the Flash's mind and corrupts the people in the city and turns them into mindless zombies while they get to run around and steal and rob the whole entire city and hurt people. So she was nothing new or nothing special. So you can kind of say it's kind of borderline a filler episode, but it's not. I guess you can say that plot is kind of like a filler episode, filler type of ordeal, but it's kind of not because it kind of leans towards her being connected in some type of way. Did Zoltar send her there? Is she a manifest of somebody else? And Zoltar sent her from his planet? We don't know. We'll see what happens with that when the show picks back up next week. as we continue on to see what happens in this 5-part episode of The Flash, which is the first 5 episodes, like I said, of this season, which is season 8. Armageddon part 3 is going to be 5 in total. So Armageddon is a 5-part series again, just to reiterate that. This is going to be the last season. We obviously don't know about that. We'll see what happens, obviously, throughout the rest of the year and next year, which is 2022. And that's basically it. That's all I have to say about The Flash in this current episode. And anything else, you can just ask me down in the comment section below. What do you think about this in my video, obviously, as well? What do you think about the Joe West situation, him being quote-unquote dead in this fake story, fake timeline, even though he's not really dead? Because the actor's still on the show, but obviously they just had this. They're just doing this for a couple episodes to do some shock and awe value to bring a difference to this show, because there was no major death at the end of last season, obviously. So we'll see what happens with that. That's basically it. That's the end of my video. Thank you again for watching. That's all I have to say about The Flash. Is season 8, episode 2. Armageddon part 2 review, and we'll see what happens in the rest of the show with the rest of the 5-part series of Armageddon. Thank you again for watching my video, and that's all I have to say about this, and we'll see what happens. And if any other characters on, if Superman and Lois and obviously Supergirl will be on the show towards the end of the show, even though they won't be in this Armageddon 5-part series. That's basically it. That's all I have to say about this again, and The Flash, and thank you again for watching my video. Goodbye.